Welcome to the WAVY Digital Desk. I'm your host, Sarah Good, and today we're with the Naval Special Operations Foundation, also known as NSOF, and they're going to be here telling us more about the organization, a memorial they're working on, and the resources they offer to the community here. So I want to just go around the table. They're in the studio with us today. So Susanna Fisher is the Executive Director. We have Adam Fleck on the Board of Directors, and Harry Bass Knight Fundraising and Corporate Outreach. So thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you
for
very,
having
very
us.
nice to be here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, who wants to jump in first and just tell us, for the people that don't know what NSOF is?
I'd be happy to do that. So the NSOF, or Navy Special Operations Foundation, is a nonprofit that's based here in Virginia Beach, and we serve exclusively the Navy EOD community and the dive community. We got our roots started back in the past 2 decades. We've kind of really changed the shape of our community in a way that's been lasting and quite remarkable. In 2016, in Thanksgiving Day, we lost an incredible guy named Scotty Cooper Dayton. He was a mentor, senior chief, just husband, father, all around amazing human being. He was killed, first U.S. Casualty in Syria. And that really rocked the community because of how senior he was. He was around in 1999 when the USS Cole got hit, and that's kind of what led him into special operations. So a year after that, Harry and another guy named Joe Cockrell, who is retired, lives down in Florida, came up with the idea to throw in the Scotty Dayton 5K. And that was a huge event. I mean, we had a flyover. It was at Green Flash, right? I think it was Green Flash at the time. It's New Realm now. And that was such a huge and successful event for the community because we brought people together, and it felt good. And we realized that there was a huge need for a nonprofit that knew the needs of our community. And that's what, a year later, NSOF was founded. Susanna's been the director since then, and we've been off rolling.
And tell us, for people that don't know as well, Naval Special Operations, who makes up that group?
Sure. Yeah. The Navy EOD. So I myself was I got out in 2018. I was medically retired. Harry did how many years? 21 years. So thank you for your service. We were both Navy EOD, and Susanna's husband is still active duty. So Navy EOD is a really amazing, dynamic, and unique community. We have been around since World War II. In fact, the same founder, Dripper Kaufman, founded us and UDT, which became the SEALs, and we kind of progressed up until these past 2 wars, and we kind of changed the face of what we do. We operate autonomously with our own teams, and we are attached to pretty much almost every special forces team that you can imagine, and we are there as somebody that can shoot, move, and communicate, dive, and jump just like everyone else can, and then we have our specialty. So when there is any kind of explosives, so from conventional to improvised IEDs, down to homemade explosives, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and underwater ordnance, we're there, and we handle that. And it's a pretty incredible career field. For one of the most dangerous ones, but it's insanely rewarding.
And Susanna, I don't know if you want to take this and just explain why it's so important that NSOF, supports that group specifically and is able to sort of be there for them.
Absolutely. So we are the sole organization that supports these 2 components exclusively, and it's very important just because we are that singular point of support. And a lot of times, as Adam was saying, they are attached to, let's say, Army or Navy SEALs and other components. So it's very important to have that home and just to have that all-encompassing organization that serves not just the operators themselves, but the family members, spouses, the children, anything from the time they get into the community to even transitioning out. We just cover that broad spectrum with a lot of programs that are specifically tailored to the all the unique aspects of the community.
Yeah, I'd also throw out there, like, we, in these past 2 decades of warfare, we have been a part of just about a lot of the major campaigns that have happened, but we've been kind of blending into the background. If you look at a lot of what we do, there may be 2 Navy EOD guys on an assault force, and if one goes down, it's a no-go criteria. That's how vital we are to these missions. But at the same time, we have incredibly quiet professional people that never really talk about our victories, and that is good in the sense that everybody likes to live up to that quiet professional, but it's been bad in the sense that we don't get a chance to tell our stories to the community, and we kind of wash into that background. So a lot of other units get that notoriety and that credibility for it, and then where that really comes into play is when things go wrong, right? We've had a lot, the one thing that I pride myself on in this organization, and Susanna's done an absolutely amazing job leading it, is where we've been able to plug in and help where there's no other help for us. So if you have, two guys that are attached to an Army Special Forces unit and they get hurt or, TBIs or have issues or transitioning or any one of the millions of things that life can throw at you, well, they don't qualify for the Green Beret Foundation or any of the other foundations that are set for those units. So that became very much apparent that we needed something that fulfilled that role for us. And that's kind of where we plugged in. And so far, I think it's been very successful at doing so.
Absolutely. And also just how small and tight-knit the community is itself, it helps us be able to fund a lot of these urgent financial requests that are needed, and we're able to do that oftentimes in less than 24 hours. And that's only done because of how small the community is. I mean, my kids have, I don't know, about 200 uncles, I feel like, at this point. So, and
there's aunts out there too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it is incredible how everyone has their back, but it's important that they don't all shoulder all of really everything that's there. I mean, if you look at, for example, my husband, he was out of town, of course, because that's when it happens. I woke up in the morning, opened my door, and there was a waterfall in my house. My water heater burst. So brought my kids to school, obviously turned off the water heater. But by the time I got back, there were already 3 guys that were there. I mean, replacing, before I had to pick them up, everything was replaced and done. And, that's something that just knowing that the community will rally behind you in that way, I think that I would be surprised if there were any other community that was that close to each other and really looked out for each other. So, it's important that there's that organization that does help and is there for the families.
And so you 3 are all personally involved in this community as well, which I think is really interesting. I mean, Harry, for you, how important is that to have an organization like this? You served for 21 years, and you recently...
I just hit my 1-year anniversary of my retirement. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Still one of the coolest retirements.
Appreciate that.
And so this was around when you were still actively serving.
It was. I retired September of last year, and like Adam was referring to, the 5K that we did for Scotty was a monumental undertaking. I thought, hey, let's put on a 5K. How hard can it be? Quickly found out that it was a full-time job and then some, because I think with everything that we do, we want to do it right. We want to make sure that the families are taken care of. We want to pay homage to the guys that we are celebrating their life, and we did it well. We had over 3,000 people out there for an inaugural 5K, which was kind of unheard of.
And jets.
Jets make everything cooler, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out to K-Fed for putting that one on. But we did a missing man formation, which is usually reserved for dignitaries and other pilots that have died in combat. But he really meant that much to the community, and we wanted to go all out and show the public, show everyone that he touched, show the family that, hey, this is how much he meant to the community. And then sparking from that, came this foundation which specifically focuses on the needs of Navy EOD.
And I was going to say, and not just for the tragic or urgent needs as well, and really just taking the time to celebrate and bringing the community together. I believe one of the very first things that, when I had noticed how important this organization was at the very first gala. So the very first gala, it's supposed to be a fundraising event, and the one thing I just kept hearing through and through was, wow, it's so nice, hadn't seen you in so long, it's so nice to get together for something that isn't a funeral. And I had realized at that point that
They've all been
that is, I mean, most introductions with my husband is like, oh, you remember so-and-so from Scotty's funeral or from Chris Reed's funeral. I mean, that was really the only time everyone got together, and just a fundraising event turned into and really morphed into, I think, a really nice community get together that I think a lot of people look forward to, and it's really what helped us develop a lot of the programs that we have for families and for operators themselves.
Yeah, it was just a reunion under good circumstances.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And that allows us to, come and celebrate and really get back and connect with each other as a community, which is very tight knit. And the holding events like that, they are charitable donations that are given to the foundation to support things like scholarship funds for kids that are going to school, community outreach when somebody is in need. Susanna talked about that 24-hour turnaround time. We need donations for things like that. Somebody's in a hardship and they don't have anywhere else to look. We want to be that focal point for them to do that. Not to jump ahead, but one of the projects that we're currently working on is the EOD Memorial that's has already broken ground on Little Creek Naval Base, and we're just over halfway for the donations needed for that. We're, Susanna, correct me if I'm wrong, about $104,000
Yes.
In need of donations to finish that project, and that's to pay homage to all of the since 2001, since we started OIF, OEF support to dedicate to the lives of all of the Navy EOD and divers that have lost their lives in the line of combat. It is you can see it.
Yeah, I was about to say it's on screen. This is what's been happening so far.
Yeah,
And that's going to be on Little Creek. I don't mean to jump in there, but like that, the reason why it's on Little Creek in front of our group building is right now, where when our members get retired, get an award, or have any kind of gathering like that, they don't have any place to do it. Maybe open field. This gives them a spot to have that actually means something. It gives them a spot to walk around. We're going to have it's going to be an amazing. I do encourage everyone to please check it out on the website. But it gives the community a place to go to and just kind of feel that togetherness again, and a point of pride.
And there's an accessibility aspect that you all highlight as well, I believe, at least on the website, that it'll be, it's flat. You don't have to walk up any steps.
It is going to be flat. There's going to be a winding path that's going to have 4 plinths that are going to have plaques that kind of tell the history of our communities, and that's going to lead you up to this beautiful granite formation with a circle and a labyrinth, if you will, for kind of a quiet meditation. And it'll have the names of all the people we've lost, and then 2 statues, which have just come out to be better than we expected. So, but we started this project years ago before COVID, and COVID absolutely, it did a lot of damage in the world, but our costs now have soared past twofold, and now we're at a point where it is critical for us to finish this because we committed to it, and the community needs it. And we need those funds so that we can continue existing. And it is our all effort right now.
And I just want to talk about, too, you all have talked about how much this community is there for each other and is able to be there for each other in times that are happy now, but also emergencies. How important is that for the families to have this? Does that help them? I'm sure that helps keep them together, especially when either deployment or, one of the officers, has died in service. I mean, how important is that to have this community to exist and sort of be holding down the fort, I guess, for them?
I think it's become more and more important, if not necessary at this point, now that we've gone into our 6th year. Even every year now, what we'll do, and we've expanded it, I believe we're close to almost 1,000 family members at this point that we've been able to send to participate in the Great Wolf Lodge. We'll have that for a weekend, and it's nice. We try to put priority on, we do have limited funding, so we can only afford to put out 30 family members per coast. We do this on the West Coast as well, and we want to make sure that anyone that's about to leave for deployment or just coming back from deployment, it's a really good time for them to unwind and relax. And one of the things that we realized was, I believe it was, I can't remember who it was, someone had pointed out to me, but I do think that for the operators themselves, since they are in an environment where there's a lot of their friends and teammates with them, they're a lot more at ease, which makes the entire family situation better. The kids are a lot more relaxed. The wives are as well, because a lot of times, I mean, you guys, I don't know if you guys have gone to Disney World or any amusement park. I'm sure it's a lot of fun for you guys. It's also a lot of fun as a spouse, anyhow. As far as my personal experience, you're on edge as well, because you want to make sure that, okay, well, something's not that you guys are going to do anything, crazy or anything like that, but it just in large crowds, it becomes very, very tense. And here you see just this wave of relaxation and just the ability to enjoy the experience, which again, it allows the entire family to as well.
Yeah, and some of the other things that we do as a foundation, like Coops Reset, named after Steve Cooper, who unfortunately committed suicide a couple years back. Suicide in the military is obviously an issue, especially in the special operations community. And we've been rocked in the past few years with some suicide. You take a bunch of people that are highly functioning, that are doing something that has profound importance for national security and to the life of the people around them, and they get out, and that is brutal. It is more often than not that you see both people go through waves of depressions and ups and downs. Some people over time can beat it, some people can't. That's another need that we fill in to make sure that we're there for them. And we do a Coops Reset very successfully, where we bring veterans and active duty people together with no agenda. We just put them in a cabin. If they want to go skiing, that's great. If not, that we give them food. And the amount of healing that has taken place, people talking, connecting again, especially the newer generations going up there and connecting with guys that have already been out for a long time and sharing those stories, kind of grounds you. So that's been incredibly successful, and that goes back to the family. If you take care of the operator, you're helping take care of the family. And that memorial is really important, right? The old adage of you die twice, one physically and one when your name is said last time. So the goal of this memorial is so that the families never see their family members die for the second time.
And I just want to talk too, just while we're highlighting the families, how important is that to sort of have these opportunities to bond that aren't just your real life at home, like going through the motions of every day, but to have a specific time set away where the family can just enjoy each other. It's meant for fun or relaxation. How important is that time, to have with the community?
Huge.
Incredibly important. Yeah.
Yeah.
To just continue to grind away. I mean, you're going to grind till there's nothing left, and unless you refill your tank somehow, emotionally, physically, mentally, and having that ability to sit back and relax and be surrounded by like-minded individuals, your people, is incredibly important. Doing some of these getaways, and you alluded to the Disney
Yes.
vacation, right? And that's turns out to be more stress than it is fun. On the flip side, something like a Great Wall Lodge, there's no financial burden that's associated with it. It's just going up and really enjoying quality time with your family.
Yeah.
And
My two girls get to play with his girls, and they have that shared experience of being through deployments, being through the hardships, and it's wonderful to watch. It really
my dad
is.
does what your dad does, or
Yeah.
like my dad does what your mom does, and where it's and this is there are many great foundations out there that do a lot for their people, and also do a lot for the EOD community, but there's nothing that is specific for the Navy EOD community like this one is. I know plenty of EOD techs that have benefited from myself personally, things like the Honor Foundation, things that are doing things like helping the transition from military life and applying your skill sets to the civilian sector are super important, and we're happy to have them, and we just want to be another focused avenue of support for the Navy EOD and diver community.
Absolutely, and for the kids, I do think it's important. They certainly didn't ask for any of it, and deployments, I think, are especially hard on them. A lot of the uncertainties and everything involved. So to be able to give them that back, and a lot of thought goes into the programs that we do offer. For example, Bob Pizzini with iFly. So Bob Pizzini is actually a former Navy EOD officer, and he is very kind and allows us to use his facilities and just provide the indoor skydiving experience for the kids. They get to go in there and do something that's as similar as you can get to what their mom or dad does, and a lot of those are just it's very important to them.
And these events and things that we're doing are pulling us together outside of the military, and that's where that family cohesion really comes in, and how we're taking care of the people that are part of the community and their families. And so that way when people get out, they're not by themselves. That's huge. And their families aren't by themselves. And their families aren't by themselves dealing with these problems. If you look at the spouses, I mean, when I was in Afghanistan, it was a really, really bloody year for us. We had guys, we lost guys. We had people come back that were single, double, triple, and quadruple. There you go. Amputees, right? And my wife, I could talk to her experience. When I was gone, she would drive up to Bethesda, every single person, and then drive home in tears. And there wasn't anybody else there for her. Our goal is to stop that, and to make sure that there's always a community, and that we're bringing people together, even outside just the direct members.
Yeah, and it's we offer all of these programs, and it is with a lot of that same passion, dedication as well. Our board is entirely consists of volunteers, volunteer board. On the operations side, it's myself, and then we have Teresa Mejia, who's the director of programs, and that is our organization. So, we do a lot with very little, and I think that's actually one of the things that is I feel like so great about the community and the people in it, is that we can, but we certainly need
help.
We do. We certainly need help, and one of the biggest challenges, I will say, is trying to find that outside sourcing, and for a community that is relatively unknown but is very, very deserving. So it's just getting the word out there and advocating for everything they've done.
Some of those things that are helping. One of our current active duty members, his name is Jerron Clark. He has started a podcast that is doing just what Adam said, is telling the stories. He is taking his personal time and interviewing, both past and present EOD technicians, and putting together, many hours of podcasts to tell the stories through the lens of an EOD tech. What it's like to be attached to a Green Beret team, what it's attached to be attached to a Navy SEAL combat team, and what your specific role is, what type of hardships you've endured, and what it's like to be staring at death in the face and making a decision to keep everybody else safe. Because that's what we're charged with. And happily, it's an all volunteer community. So you're doing this for your brothers and sisters on the battlefield, and it's very going back and listening to those stories is it's very eye-opening to what people actually have to deal with as an EOD tech, because it's not a household name yet. Slowly becoming. We've had Bob Pizzini, write a book on leadership. We've had a couple other books, the unsung.
Brad Snyder.
Brad Snyder.
Unsung.
Brad Snyder's got
Who's on our board.
Fire in My Eyes.
So Brad Snyder, bringing him up, he's a Olympic gold medalist.
So
where
6 times.
Yeah, he lost his. He was
just one, but 6.
Yeah.
September 7th, 2011, he lost his eyesight. An IED blast basically hit him in the face, and it was pretty devastating. We didn't know the condition of his face, let alone his eyesight or anything else. And a year to the day of his injury, an incredible human being. Literally within minutes accepting his new reality and dealing with it. And then a year to the day of his injury, he was standing on the stage at the Olympic accepting his first gold of many gold medals as the world's fastest blind swimmer. And he had just absolutely never let it stop. And that is just like a brief glimpse of the type of character that's in this community. One thing I will say, if any of this is resonating with you, we do a gala event every year in June. We have events. Look us up. Come out. Meet us. Be involved in the community. Come out and see who we are and talk to us. We would love to get to know you. We'd love to get to meet you. And I think you'd have a good time.
And for younger EOD techs that are coming in, they have this available to them right now, and they have this community sort of built for them. what do you all do for those younger guys? Do you get them in? Do you get them acquainted with everyone here in Hampton Roads? I mean, what are some of the things you do for the younger guys?
So
And girls, sorry, but just younger people.
talking about community involvement,
Mhm.
you know, it's like Mikey Fox. He is a a legend, a living legend
Awesome
in our community. He put together something. You know, it's just once a month we have a breakfast that both past, present, EOD techs will just come and make sure that that cohesion between new guys, they understand what they're coming into. The current combat picture that the world is seeing right now is not the same as it was 10 years ago. It's not the same as it was,
It's
2 years
changing
ago.
fast, too.
It's constantly evolving. So conflict, drives a lot of that, what our job is right now. However, there's been so many lessons that these guys are learning that is written in blood by the guys that went before them and paved that way. Guys that are missing limbs now, guys that are missing eyesight, guys that have had, mental demons that they can't easily shake or have to deal with on a daily basis. We want them to know exactly what it is. It's not just cool guy stuff you see on TV, right? There's a long lineage of how this came to be, and by having things like that it's just one little, hey, it's a breakfast every month. It's the first Friday of every month. Thanks, Chicks, for hosting us, or Citrus, right? Citrus. And there's many little things like that are happening all over, but it's just people that are doing. And NSOF being one of those things, like having iFly, the kids camp that were up there.
Coops Reset.
The Great Wolf Lodge. I think,
And even at the smaller level within the command, so we're pretty embedded in the commands themselves. And for example, we're either for the new Operator Olympics that so we'll do the warrior breakfast at the end of this program. We will fund the food for them to have, and just making sure that they understand that we're here for them. Maybe you guys can speak to it a little better, but I would imagine coming into the community already knowing that we have your back. Someone does have your back. There is that central point, that organization that's there for you, for your family as you grow, as when you transition out. I would imagine it would be pretty huge coming.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know if we want to end off by just talking about, what's the best way to help, donate if you're able, or support, whether that's by showing up to events that you have or by donating financially. But if you just want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah.
I would say, being on the fundraising committee and looking at the things that we have, set up in our calendar going forward, our number one priority right now is monetizing that, securing the money for the finishing of our memorial. Right, like I said, it's about $104,000 still left in the till to complete the project, and then even going forward from that, we have our gala event that happens in June
29th.
And just if you get dressed up, come out and have a great time. Rub some elbows with guys that have done an incredible service for our country and still continue to do the same. And it's just be a part of something bigger than yourself, and having that memorial project finished up would be an incredible win. If
you go to our website, nsof.org, there are multiple ways to get involved. We have silhouette statues, mini busts that you can buy to be part of it. All those funds go directly to the memorial. We have pavers that you can buy and put someone's name on there that go in the memorial, and those funds go to the memorial. If any kind of donation, we have multiple ways to donate. That's on the website. And if you yourself or anybody that has any kind of small business that is interested in partnering with an organization, we are looking for people in the community to bring them into our fold, to show them who we are. We have a bunch of fundraising activities directed towards small businesses. So reach out to us. We're here. I'll come meet you personally.
And if you're an organization in the community that does have resources, whether that be for kids, families, meals and so forth, that's something I assume that you all welcome as well, that
Absolutely.
partnership.
Absolutely.
We love partnering with other organizations, absolutely.
Did you want to show the figure?
I did want to,
We want to do demo day?
the demo day.
Yeah, so
Let's talk
one of
about
the things
demo
that we're putting together right now, it'll be mid to late spring. We don't have a date yet, but we're still planning the details, but we got approval. Is if you want to know what it's kind of like to be a part of this community, we're going to get a select few people that meet the donation requirement to help us with this foundation. We're bringing out to a demo range. We're actually going to we're teaching about explosives and how to do all the things that are associated with that, to include some homemade explosive techniques, and you're going to get to see and witness some really cool explosive shots and get an idea what it's like to be an operator for a day.
We're partnering with Bob Rush and
Point One USA.
and Point One, who is a prior EOD tech. He is actually he's an employer of quite a few past EOD personnel that.
And he's a big supporter.
Huge
Yeah.
supporter. That he is going to help facilitate what it's like to pretty much a day in the life of an EOD tech. And let's be honest, who doesn't like blowing stuff up?
Yeah,
right?
so if you've never seen an explosion, this is your one opportunity to come out and be a part of it. You may even get a chance to fire in the hole and pull the shot. So
We're looking at next spring.
next spring, it'll be a good time. I guarantee that. So yeah, reach out to our organization if you're interested, and I would definitely like to meet you and talk to you more about it.
And if you all are able to raise the funds, in like, let's say the next coming months, do you have people in line that could do the work and have
Yep.
it done by?
Yes.
Oh, it's,
It
and
is-
it's
it is.
ongoing. We have actually our lead project manager, Pat Flanagan. He's retired Navy UD. Incredible guy, has taken on so much as far as being the lead for it and organizing everything. And so far we have all of the pathways, the plinths, the labyrinth, I believe, is beginning now, and we just have the main parts, so the granite pillars and arches that are coming through, and that's really the heftiest part there. And
Yeah, our goal is that we've already broke ground, but our goal is to have the actual ribbon cutting sometime late next year if everything goes well. And if you're a supporter, we'd like to get you out there. And again, the gala event's a really good time, so we want to get you out there too, so you can actually sit down and talk and meet us. It's a good time.
Absolutely. Well, I guess the best place for people to go is your website. So we'll link that just for everyone who is watching this later or watching it now to be able to go check out the website, check out your resources offered, and hopefully get in touch with you all either to support or be involved.
Yes,
Well, is there anything else that?
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is
So
huge.
much.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
really
you so much for
appreciate it.
coming in this
But
morning.
Thank all the supporters out there too that have donated and continue to donate to NSOF, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely.